What's up YouTube, Dale here from Seven War Games, and today I'm bringing you Kurt's Dogmatika ritual build. Yes! Finally, Dogmatika's got even more support in the form of the ritual spaces as well. And Kurt has put his deck together, and he's shown it great appreciation by rocking Ulti Ecclesia. Yeah, okay, it's not the level of Starlight, but it's still very, very cool. With all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. As it is a Dogmatika deck, we are playing triple Ecclesia, followed by 2 Fleurs, and of course 2 Maximus. These are the pretty much standard lineup. It's when we get into the brand new ritual in the form of the Alba Zoa. This card is absolutely insane. It is a very, very high level, but it does read as follows. Cannot be ritual summoned except by Dogmatic Calamity or Dogmatika card effects. Dogmatika monsters you control are unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, and Link monsters. So basically unaffected by your opponent's extra deck monsters. During your main phase, you can make your opponent choose and apply one of these effects. You in these effects means your opponent. For every 2 cards in your opponent's extra deck, send 1 card from your opponent's hand or extra deck to the graveyard. Or return all Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, and Link monsters you control, your opponent, controlled to the extra deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. There's a 4k attack and 4k defense. The issue with this card is, because it has those 2 effects, technically I believe they can choose the second effect. If you go first and you summon this down first turn and you choose to use this effect, I'm pretty sure they can choose to use the second effect and they can't send anything back. I could be wrong on that. Maybe they have to choose one that is legally able to resolve on activation, but it still does an incredible amount, and it is an insane boss monster for a deck that pretty much says, okay, I can't go into the extra deck. We've then got the 1 White Knight of Dogmatika and then the 1 White Relic. It's been so cool to have these cards, and it's great that they now have another ritual following up in order to take them a little bit further. Of course, with a ritual deck, you want to be playing the main normal summon, which is going to be your Diviner of Herald. Send your Herald of the Arclight from the extra deck, search out your ritual spell or your ritual monster. Considering you're only playing 4 of the monsters and like 4 of the spells as well, it does kind of limit you to what you're going to want to be going for. But there are plenty of different ways with the form of Maximus and of course cards like Ecclesia that can get you in the right direction. Of course, Triple Nadir Servant. Now this is where it's important for Diviner, because Diviner is normal summon, then you send, and then you turn it into your Almirage, and that just puts a monster from the extra deck onto the board, which means you can start special summoning down the Ecclesia. Then of course we've got the 2 Dogmatika Cabaret and 2 Calamity. So these are your ritual spells. Your Calamity is probably your little bit of the better one because it lets you send from the extra deck, quite like the Necros Kaleidoscope, to perform the ritual summon. And that's when you've got your level 10s, or I believe it's level 12, sorry. You've got your level 7, 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm getting good at this, counting levels, and level 4. So obviously 4 is your best one because that's going to get you your Herald, which will ultimately give you another search. Then we've got the final of the new spells. So this is Dogmatika Matrix. This is a continuous spell card and reads as follows. When this card is activated, you get to add a Dogmatika ritual monster or ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Then if your opponent controls a monster, you can add 1 Dogmatika card from your deck to the hand. Once per turn, if you control a Dogmatika ritual monster, you can look at either player's extra deck and send 1 monster from it to the graveyard. The best thing about that is the fact that it lets you look at either your deck or your opponent's extra deck and send 1 card from it. The artwork is pretty badass as well. It's basically like Zoro locked up in the Dogmatika Theatre. So then what you do with this one as well is you get to pretty much set up a search off of Herald, or you're going to be sending up getting rid of one of the boss monsters from your opponent's extra deck. The issue with this deck is it kind of wants to be going second in order to maximise its potential, and that's maybe where you look at maybe normal summoning something like a Lava Golem along those lines. Triple Preparation of Rites, so you add a ritual spell from your deck to the hand and a ritual monster that is listed on the ritual spell. So the ones you get is your White Knight, or of course your Relic, and then they can be obviously searched out with your Cabaret, because these will list all of them as well. Then of course the trap cards, you do have 2 Punishment. This is now becoming a bit of a pile of Dogmatika cards, so we're going to tie this up before we get into the hand traps. So the hand traps for the deck, obviously called by the grave to deal with said hand traps. And then he is rocking triple Bysteel Bulldrake. I think this is just like a budget alternative to playing the full engine. Like the fact this card came as a common is very, very easy to pick up. Double Veiler, triple Ash, and double imperm. Now this might change up when the format starts to take shape, if he is planning to take it more competitive, and when it does start to take shape, you're probably going to be looking at stuff like your mourners in place of your veilers. You can upgrade the imperms and everything else that you need as well. Another card that could arguably be put in here is something like a Pot of Prosperity or a Pot of Extravagance, but it really depends on which route you want to go, because your extra deck is pretty fluid. And what I mean by that is obviously you're playing your Almirage for your Diviner, you've got your Gardener, of course your main important one is going to be your Herald for your searches, you've got your Gamma for the recyclable, the Ignista for the graveyard kind of protection or pop in a sense, then of course you've got your Elder Entities for pops, you've got your Titaniclads to end phase special summon, and then of course you've got your Fossil Warrior, which is basically another Firmament of an Atis, and then you've just got your higher level monsters and obviously a flex in the form of the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon being 5,045, purely because if your opponent does have a big boss monster that none of these can really deal with, this one will then be able to get rid of them. Then the last two cards of course is a Garura for the draw send, and then you do have the Agitator. So this one is kind of cool. You can send the Agitator from the extra deck using the Dear Servant, because this will allow you to search anything of 26 or lower, and it is a way of then negating a card on the field. But the chances are, if they let the Nadir go through, they're probably going to be waiting to negate it, or something that is on the boards that is going to cause issues, and that's where this comes in. It obviously is a very good deck that you could side in the Ultimate Slayers as well, because the Ultimate Slayers themselves will allow you to kind of, you've got the space in the extra deck for something like this, or of course for something along the lines of the Evil Twin Link 4 as well. Anyway, that's Kurt's very direct route for the ritual based of Dogmatikas. It is a little bit different from everything we've seen before. It's quite nice to see the deck get a bit of appreciation, and it's going to be very interesting to see where this deck goes. Obviously there's a couple of different bits that will be adaptive and changed depending on the meta and everything else and the way it sets up. But for now, that is pretty much it. It is really kind of cool to see the new rituals come into play, and it's kind of great for Kurt to have provided this update for us as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, guys, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.